Hey guys, and welcome back to another character sheet video. Today we are going to go over Puddle Trot's story up to the comic's start. Puddle Trot is one of the main characters, Dart's daughter, and Solar Capture's former love interest. This video will be formatted just like the previous two, meaning story points will not match up to when I am drawing them, and I will show the finished result at the end. If you have a problem with that, tough shit. I really do not care. Alright, let's begin. Puddle Trot is not Dart's biological daughter. She was born to two wandering lions, Flint and Tamu. Puddle Trot doesn't remember much of her cub years before Dart found her, but Dart didn't just find her. He also found her parents' bodies, having been slain by an unknown animal. Not even Puddle Trot remembers what killed her parents, and why it didn't take her too. Puddle Trot lost her ability to speak due to the shocking event that took place right before her eyes. Of course, Dart, by chance, came across her and took her with him. As if he were to leave her there, a predator would find an easy meal in the cub. A couple weeks went by, and Puddle Trot still had not talked to Dart. She did acknowledge him, of course, with nodding or shaking her head. Dart knew not to push the cub, and offered to let her travel with him. Puddle Trot was unsure at first, as Dart was still a stranger to her. But through good deeds and his protective nature of her, Puddle Trot began to trust him more and more. One day, Puddle Trot was alone as Dart was out hunting, when a hyena came across Puddle Trot. Frozen in fear, Puddle Trot just stood there, waiting for her death. As she was still pretty young, she couldn't do anything against this hyena. As Puddle Trot stood there, that's when Dart comes in, crashing into the hyena, scaring it off. It is then that Puddle Trot said her first words to Dart. "Thank you." From that point on, Puddle Trot grew to see Dart as a father figure to her. And a great father he was to her as well. Always there for her, doing all the hunting and work. Even though Puddle Trot wanted to help, Dart insisted that he could do it all. Her father's need to take care of others always gave Puddle Trot pride, as he was no regular dad, but hers. Dart was her dad. On one hot day, Dart and Puddle Trot wandered into a pride's territory, looking for a waterhole. This isn't the first time the pair has done this, as prides tend to be pretty lax about territories nowadays, allowing other lions to at least drink and rest, especially during the dry season. While searching for water, Puddle Trot came across this male lion who was incredibly aggressive towards her, threatening her with death, as if he was almost in a hysterical state. As the lion lunged towards her, Dart jumped onto him, trying his best to restrain the male lion. But the lion was past reason, forcing Dart to kill him. Puddle Trot noticed how the action made her father feel, and how unwilling he was to do it. Dart then suggested something that would change their lives forever. He wanted to go to the male lion's pride. Puddle Trot didn't know why her father came up with this idea, but she also knew that her father was incredibly smart, and has his reasons. So she went along with it. And after living with said pride for a couple months, she of course grew close with Solar Capture. Puddle Trot did fall in love with the lioness, but didn't want to have others in her life just yet, as she was worried about not giving her father enough time to hang out with him and, continue to bond, and as she loved her father deeply, and she loved hanging out with him. I mean, they only had each other for so long. Because Puddle Trot knew her father and how lonely his life had been, Puddle Trot made a promise to herself that she'd never let her father feel lonely, ever. On the day Solar Capture confessed to Puddle Trot, Dart overheard them, and for whatever reason that Puddle Trot couldn't figure out, Dart began to yell at Solar Capture for falling in love with his daughter. When Solar Capture asked for Puddle Trot's help, Puddle Trot backed away, as she would rather keep her father's happiness than go against him, as she knew he never had anyone in his life up until Puddle Trot. The events that followed with the fight and the exile of Solar Capture and Flame Sprint had Puddle Trot completely frozen. Not out of fear, but rather guilt, as her actions and decisions are what led to this. Maybe if she talked to her father more about this and had him not find out himself, or maybe tell Solar Capture the truth and how she was not ready for anything serious. But no. And just like when her parents died, Puddle Trot felt like she'd lost the ability to speak once more. But she had to stay by her father's side no matter what, until the day she died. That was the promise she made to herself. But little did she know, that promise would one day be fulfilled with blood, tears, and the cries of a newborn cub.